However, I do tend to lose track of.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Very good.
Nice to meet you. I'm Brian.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Brian.
this is Desiree, my fiance.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
She's real excited. She's gonna love those pants.
I do.
They look like chicken. They look almost like chicken legs.
I love that when people say that. I can't stop myself.
Oh, is that what just from your?
No, you actually have to make a stencil, but I did make a stencil based on my hands, but you can't just do that because your hands aren't flat.
This is recorded.
Oh, cool. No worries.
Hey, y'all wave.
Welcome, world. What you're going to see in the next 20 minutes, as in so many aspects of life, like love and politics and religion and baseball, what you're going to see will be entirely dependent upon where you stand and when you're standing there. Right now, we're looking at this upper array from the back. But if it were 10 in the morning, it would be the front, as it were, because it's meant to be seen with the sun shining through it.
Right.
As you can see why that might be with all the glass. But you're going to see in greater specificity in a moment, and that will please me, and it'll demonstrate to you what I mean by having stumbled upon this glorious medium that I want to encourage the world to partake in.
That's so cool. Yeah.
The fact that there is a certain amount of moisture in the air is a great blessing given the fires and all, but the difference between what we're going to see now and in a few moments won't be as great as it would be if the light wasn't diffuse. If the light is directional, in other words, if there's not much moisture in the air and the shadows are very sharp, then the contrast is quite pronounced, because in this case, we're looking at what we ordinarily look at in life, which is life bouncing off of one thing and into our eyes, one thing or another in our eyes, reflected light. But when you look through a lens and the light source is on the other side of it, you see refracted light inside the lens. The light is being treated differently by the medium. But it's less true today because the light's diffuse, but still you'll get an idea of what I mean, I believe, I hope. The other thing I'm quite interested in, which is also much more muted on days when there's moisture in the air, is the fact that when you make images out of the open space, out of cutouts, you give yourself an endless number of possibilities for visual image making and visual experience that you wouldn't otherwise, like these, like you're just discussing this. But because I made the image out of the open space, you can do all sorts of things with it that you just couldn't otherwise. And another example of that, as I say, it's kind of soft right now, but if you look down in the lower left of the pink wall here, you'll see this gal's visage emerging from the wall perpendicular to it, and she will climb the wall corresponding to the stairs. She'll go up the stairs as the sun arcs across the sky. But it's, as I say, much more pronounced when it's a clear day.
Yeah.
So all right, now we're gonna go up.
Cool. Welcome to Randyland.
Yeah, welcome to Randyland. I'm pleased and honored to have you.
We're so.
That's right. It's Stonehenge right here. So what I'm going to ask you to do is follow me up, but don't peek to the right. None of you peek to the right. I'm just asking for momentarily deferred gratification, very briefly. So
There's a lot of rules here at Randyland. I don't know. Okay.
And you're going to just look at the trees in the backyard until I position you properly to turn around for the reveal.
Don't look to the right.
That's right. Don't look to the right. And Richard, close the door behind you, would you, when you slip through?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. You're visiting with Mr. V. We're visiting Randyland today, and well, take a look.
wait for that. Come on up and close the gate.
Close the gate.
All right, now follow me. Stand back here, please. Look at the ash trees in the backyard.
Okay.
Yeah, keep looking at it. You might see a squirrel or an owl or a raccoon. As the case may be, it's quite a menagerie. This little arboreal environment we've got going. Okay, so now turn around and look the other way.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. People say, wow. I'm really into the wow. Thank you so much.
So cool.
Now, you see what I mean about how the array of light coming into your eyes, what you're actually visually experiencing is so different than down below.
Right.
And that's because that has everything to do with that tiny light you see in each of those spheres here in the foreground. See that tiny light?
Yeah.
And each one of those lights, you also see a tiny light in the red ones in the background. See those? And in each of the blue ones, virtually all of them. Each one of those tiny lights is actually a tiny sun in a shrunken upside down sky. If you look closely enough, you'll see that array inside it. Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
So the nature of the medium, the basic element in the medium, is not a ceramic tile. It's not a brush stroke. It's not a pixel. It's just stay right there, and I'll show you what it is. It's a living, ever-changing, blazing sky. And that's what makes the medium so damn exciting, and it's so natural for Southern California. Yeah, here, hold it up to the sky, Richard. Yeah, you are. You see, this will screw with your sense of balance because you see everything upside down inside.
Yes. It's like you kind of see a fish almost, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is what I believe is the reason. See me upside down inside it?
I don't know if I can. Wow.
This is the reason why crystal balls, in my estimation, are associated with magic.
Oh,
because a crystal ball is a glass sphere. It's a wide-angle lens, and what other thing in the world takes the world and shrinks it and projects it upside down?
Yeah.
I mean, it's truly a miracle, but it's a miracle that's actually explained by science. Not that I understand it. Here, it's just a little bit trickier than that. And Ryan, if you want to stand right there. The other way, you stand right there.
Now I'm up on the stairs. Okay.
Now look in
I'm a
this.
little guy. So, whoa.
Yeah, the only thing you can hurt here is yourself. So don't worry about it. So now look stay right there. Look at this, the one right above my hand. Seeing that one right there?
Yep.
That vesicle. At the top of it, you see my neighbor's house upside down, right? That's because the top of it is functioning as a crystal ball. Right? It's actually a liquid lens because instead of it being solid glass, it's water, but water is also transparent. And liquid lenses have a very long tradition. Now, look closely in the bottom portion of that teardrop shape in the stem, at the bottom right, and you'll see it's elongated, but you'll see my neighbor's house right side up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because the bottom portion, the shape of it, is coved inwards. So when you fill it with water, it becomes a concave lens, which also shrinks the world and projects it, but not, instead of it projecting it upside down, it turns the world on its vertical axis, which is why it's on your right-hand side, even though it's on the right-hand side of the lens, even though it's on your left-hand side. The reason why I'm belaboring this is because it's, bitching to contemplate, but it also results in something really quite extraordinary that happens here every day by the hundreds, if not thousands, and that is cosmic solar mitosis. And now I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Make your way down. Don't
Cosmic.
trip.
Solar
Yes.
mitosis.
And then go to the base of the stairs. And then climb up the stairs and then stand right there. The handrails are very solid, Richard.
Now, did you really name her? I think somebody said Big Booty Duty.
Bodacious Betty.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Yes, I did. She's the goddess of invincibility. I built her during Black Lives Matter.
Oh, wow.
And so when the southern sky is full of pink clouds, she's made out of pink clouds.
Oh, yeah.
And when the southern sky is made out of dark and stormy clouds, she becomes made of dark and stormy clouds.
Was that big booty Betty?
Bodacious Betty.
Bodacious Betty. I think Richard likes the other name.
There's no mention of the size of her booty in her name.
Richard, where'd you get that from?
Brian, if it's on Facebook, I saw it.
Well, it does. She does have a big booty, and if you're bodacious, you are quite likely to have a big booty.
She's
so
got
it's
a-
not entirely mysterious as to why one would go from one to the other.
You got a beautiful flare coming off her booty right now. I can't tell you.
Do you see the tiny light in each of the rhinestone-looking things?
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
perimeter of her body.
Yes.
Each one of those is a tiny crystal ball.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly like this bigger one.
Oh, wow.
And that's why the tiny light you see inside each one is the sun itself blazing away. And you can see how different it is than in the ones where there is no legend.
Yeah.
Cool, huh? All right, so now we're back to the cosmic solar mitosis. Do you see those two bright lights in each of these?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we now know that those are both suns. That blazing sun.
Yeah.
But in the upper one, it's in an upside down sky, and in the lower one, it's in a right side up sky. Remember? So imagine what it was like a few hours ago. That sun, those two suns actually appeared in the middle of each one of these as a singularity.
Oh, wow.
And then slowly split into two, and one has been going up and one has been going down all afternoon, which is what they're doing as we speak. And at sunset, they'll disappear at the top and the bottom, and then you'll see the two melded gloamings, twilights, and everything else disappears, and it looks like it becomes otherworldly, and as if you're underwater or something.
Wow.
Cool, huh?
Wow.
Very cool.
Randy, I missed
Playing
it.
with light, man.
the-
That's just amazing.
Yes.
What about it?
What does
What does the S stand for?
sun?
Splendid. Sun. Everything you can think of that starts with an S.
Okay, wait, what did,
Not everything.
Serpentine.
what is it? What did you say?
The S.
Oh, that S. Ah, yes. Splendiferous.
Yeah, but you're right. It does stand for the sun. But it also stands for serpentine. I wanted to do a whole series of, whole alphabet, but I started with S because I was so
Enamored?
sibilant
Yes.
and snake-like and serpentine. Now, what I ordinarily do, but we can't do today because the shadows are just not sharp enough, is ordinarily I encourage people to make their own instant art, because in addition to making giant images out of cutouts, I also make smaller ones, lots of them. And when the light is not diffused, they cast the most extraordinary shadows.
That's what I was doing.
Oh.
So there's a little patch of light right there. Jasmine, you're not sorry. Desiree. So when you stand right there and I'll cast a shadow on you.
Oh, that's how you're doing that. Follow him on Instagram.
It'll be muted today. Sometimes it's really it's like some kind of Mike Tyson thing going on. All right, so now look towards the sun. Now, I guess I wanted you to.
Yeah, let me. Look at you. Step forward. Perfect, right there.
Yeah, that's it.
wow.
I'm gonna use that more often.
It gets a great response. I'm not sure it would with every person, but you really reacted well. Isn't that cool? See, that's the little mustache. Let's see if I see there. There, see there. That's what I was aiming for. Cool, huh? Cool. I like the one that's on their head.
Yeah.
It's kind of like weird eyebrow. Oh, that's cool.
And this is just a taste. You know, I have hundreds of these things, and all, you know, dragons and all sorts of different patterns, and it's super fun to do with one another. The creative act starts with agreeing to a shadow caster between the two of you, and then casting it on each other.
And watching that whole relationship
It's
there,
so damn
right?
fun.
Just that moment of
Yeah.
like,
You can't get all three of us shot like you just did.
I could with the one down there.
So, yeah, Randy, it's kind of, you got the light behind you. I actually kind of like that with the flare coming over your head.
Yeah.
Kind of in shadow, it doesn't matter, right?
Well, it has its own appeal. It's also very often when people come and they shoot here, and there's some, person who wants to appear on camera for one reason or another, you can bounce light on them, and it becomes extremely surreal too, because the background and the foreground are lit up in the most extraordinary way. But backlit also works.
I just love this. So tell us about Randyland. Tell us. You give us the story. I can ask you questions. How long have you been here? How did you start this? Why did you start this? Why do you do this? What are the different iterations through the years?
All right. Well, do you see that hillside across the way?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you were to go up that hillside at 10 in the morning in the summertime.
Uh-oh.
And you looked back, this is what you would see.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's an angel. Looks like an angel.
Now, if you look right there,
Yeah.
there she is. But what you see depends on where you stand, and you were too close to it. That's the central premise in life and in Randyland. What you see depends on where you stand.
Wow.
And when you're standing there, in more ways than one.
Yeah. Like you said, if you folks want to visit Randyland, you can contact Randy, but he's going to give you a specific time to see this beautiful light.
Yes, the time to come for a tour is an hour and a half before sunset on a sunny day, not hazy. And these days, weekends, because I'm selling my labor to the man to pay the mortgage. But if you were
Go on, yeah.
But this same figure, who is looming above us right now, as seen from the opposite point of view at the opposite time of day, looks like that.
Oh, from here.
And yes, from right where we're standing in the summertime as the sun is setting on a clear day. So this it exemplifies the incredible nature of the medium. What you see, the array of light come into your eyes, is radically different depending on the time of day, the time of year, and what's happening in the sky, and where you have positioned yourself. It's alive like in the Frankenstein movies, insofar as you are alive and the sky is alive.
And all the amazing factors that came into play for that moment to exist.
Yes, exactly. So if you were to now put on your jet packs and went up in the air 20 feet as the sun was setting in the summertime, and the shaded hillside behind her is what you see. This is
Bring that into light.
your visual experience becomes, which is well and truly different than this. But it's the same array, it's the same sculpture. That's what's so damn exciting about the medium. Wow. It's an ongoing revelation of the most extraordinarily stimulating kind. Now, remember where we started? The beginning of our little tour?
On the street.
On the street, looking up, and I said, if it were 10 o'clock in the morning, it would be the front, And then this is what the same figure looks
wow.
like. Look, see how broad her shoulders are?
Oh, wow,
She looks
yeah.
like she's playing for the Green Bay Packers.
Wow,
But it's the same sculpture, but from a different angle. Yes.
How amazing!
And
yeah,
at a different time of day with different atmospheric conditions.
the quality changes.
Isn't that crazy?
Look at between that and that.
Yes. And I'll show you one more example. And this is also
wow.
from across the street, but on a day when the sky is white, when the light is diffuse, there's a light, a fog in the air, and it looks like that.
Oh, wow! She's just like glowing.
Isn't that incredible?
That's awesome.
So this is why I'm imploring everyone all over the world to consider exploring the medium and then sending me the results of what you've done, and we'll form a brotherhood and a sisterhood of the Fantasma Gloria.
What do you call this?
This is called the Fantasma Gloria.
Fanta-
The media, you could call them sky catchers because it's catching the sky, but
Right.
the whole creative endeavor is called the Fantasma Gloria, which is a variation on the word that Homer used to describe what Odysseus witnessed when he went into the underworld to find the world's wisest man, so he could find out how to thwart Poseidon and get home to Penelope and kill all her suitors. And Homer says that he witnessed this phantasmagoria, this vision of his fallen comrades in the Trojan War emerging out of the mists.
Yeah.
And so that was by the nature of it more gory, and this is more glorious, so it becomes the Phantasma Gloria as opposed to Homer's Phantasmagoria.
I love that. I love that. It is glorious.
Oh, thank you so much. Now you asked how long it took me to do that. I can answer these frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
Well, I will do that right now. Do you see those cobalt blue ones right there?
Uh-huh.
There's a tiny light you see in each one of those, and we now know that's the sun trying to burn through the clouds. Well, I was many years ago now, a quarter of a century ago, I was languishing in the Sea of Despond, meaning I was really bummed out because I had somehow been smitten by or bitten by this desire, this need to make something new and beautiful in the world, and I had failed to do so, and I was an unhappy puppy because of that. Talk about a first world problem, but I was really feeling sorry for myself, despite the fact that I was living in the lap of luxury here. And so I happened to buy one of those blue bottles, and I had it on my windowsill, and my kitchen window faces Mount Wilson and the San Gabriel Mountains, and there are these giant columns rising up, columns of cumulus clouds rising up 60,000 feet in the air, because Mount Wilson's almost 6,000. And the sun was blazing, just to the right of those, and there was the palm trees in the intervening ground right here at the top of Elysian Heights. And I looked down and I saw that blazing pale light in that blue bottle. And so I put down the joint I was smoking and put on my glasses and looked inside, and I saw the 60,000 foot cumulus clouds and Mount Wilson and the San Gabriels and the palm trees in the foreground, this whole tableau shrunken and upside down 2.5 inches tall. And I thought, my God, I could make mosaics out of 1,000 shining suns.
Blew your mind.
And so I went outside, and I figured, well, I could either be miserable sitting on my butt, or I could be miserable out, hanging blue bottles from rebar in the front yard. And so I chose the latter, and I made this.
Oh, wow.
And
this was your first piece?
And yes, this is the very first thing I did. And it was after that, it was Katie bar the door, because I really wanted to explore the medium. So this was one end of the first array that I did, and this was the center section of the first array.
Wow.
the dancing starfish.
What are the starfish made from?
They're made from IKEA vases full of water.
IKEA vases.
Yes, and little and these round wire.
So is this a little bit of found art?
It's all.
Is it all?
It's all. The red and yellow ones are all wine bottles. And I've done my duty and drank the wine in all of them in order.
Hey, at least the bottle of glass doesn't go to waste, right?
Exactly. And they're from France. The big teardrop-shaped ones are from Poland.
You look like light bulbs. What are they?
They are giant vials made at a scientific instrument manufacturing company in Poland.
Wow! So it's
and so they're very delicate. They're much thinner glass than the wine bottles from France are.
Like beakers, or
yes,
is that
I believe they're called vials, but they're just really big.
Yeah.
But there may be a more specific.
No, you're probably
you
right.
Put them over Bunsen burners, and you can imagine.
Don't trust me.
And then that head there that is kind of a swaying. It's hard to spread.
Oh yeah.
That and the others are from Spain. So it's wherever I can find them. All the skinny ones, the smooth that are asymmetrical, that kind of bending to one side, those are all from IKEA.
The
key was, as long as it was convex and on one end and concave on the other, the proportions could vary, but as long as they had, as opposed to cylindrical. A cylindrical bottle does not deliver a coherent view of the world beyond.
Interesting.
It refracts the light, but it distorts it. But if it's as either convex in the round, like a sphere, or concave, then it projects a coherent refracted light, and that's what the medium is using refracted light. In other words, multiplying the sky and the horizon 1,000 times, like you see right there.
And then you wire it together, and
you have to make a wire harness for each one. And conceptually, it's the same basic configuration as the wire cage on a champagne cork.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they get that in, but it's just made out of a thicker wire. And 14 gauge galvanized wire. And then once you have that, you have pick points, and then you can suspend them in any way you want. The structure itself that all the glass is suspended from is a whole series of spring-loaded 20-foot long steel springs.
Whoa. Okay.
They're 20-foot long lengths of rebar. But if you put them under tension, they become springs. And so they're all under tension. They're all arced under tension. See, some of them much more severe than others.
Yeah. Why?
Because a spring will hold its shape and hold up water, which is heavy, when just a stick of rebar suspended between 2 points would not.
Yeah, I'll tell you what that says to me. I mean, I'm just a commentator here, but you bend it and you're putting energy into it.
That's exactly right.
Right, and there's energy here.
That's exactly right. It's not
the kinetic.
That's right. A spring has energy put into it. You're exactly on point. And then when you connect, you interconnect well over 120-foot long steel springs that has an extremely wide footprint. An engineer came here once and he says it looks like a giant steel spring-loaded praying mantis. Because it has a very wide footprint.
I didn't even see the hands up there reaching to the sky.
Yes, that's from Browning, Elizabeth Barrett Browning's husband. Robert Browning. The most memorable thing he said, at least for me, was if a man's reach does not exceed his grasp, then what's a heaven for?
That's amazing.
And so that and Black Lives Matter are why there's a reaching for the sky.
Beautiful.
Cool, huh? Now the other, this was as I say, the center section of the first one I did. And here is the other end.
Oh.
The first of many suns.
Wow.
That's made out of a bicycle wheel hub with IKEA vases full of water radiating around the outside and
so
nestled on the inside.
It was moving then.
No,
No.
it just looks like it's moving.
Right, yeah.
And you could make it move, and I want to do that. It's kind of crying out for it.
Right.
Wouldn't that be totally trippy in the extreme?
That's cool.
And then I did a whole series of, and it's been growing ever since. In addition to this being a temple to the sun and the light, the different colors of the sun, it's also a growing goddess garden. This is Bodacious Betty. See now that how the clouds have emerged?
Yeah.
So she's no longer pale blue.
You can see the shot I've got right now. It's just gorgeous.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
Again, it's the medium itself. But the first goddess I did, and this of course is, you know, the Virgin of Guadalupe, who was a nice Jewish girl who got in trouble and became the mother of God, and then appeared to an Aztec Indian. That's the story.
Sure. Okay.
But then I did my own series of goddesses. Neolithic, you know, Venus figures that they find for 30,000 years, and you know these. You kind of fertility seeming, that's what they call them, for lack of a better, they don't know what they were, right? But but people made them for 30,000 years,
right? Some kind of female,
major female deity mojo going on,
right? Fertility, some kind of. So how big was this piece?
That was the top of that was right there, so that was 20 feet
tall.
Oh
wow. So then you changed it.
Yeah, I've changed it 18 different times. The entire arrays of.
Whoa! So if you've been to Randyland before, come again. You get to see a whole new installation.
Absolutely.
Well, how often do you change it?
I changed it 18
Is there a schedule?
times in 25 years.
18.
So it's about every
year and a half or so.
Every year and a half to 2 years.
You get tired of it?
Average so far, but now it's growing. It's growing around, and when I've changed it, it's gotten taller and taller, as you can see. Initially, it was just this. It was less than half as tall.
Oh wow!
And then it really just kept.
What do your neighbors say?
My neighbors say thank you for increasing my property value.
Yeah.
In the beginning, they just wondered what was happening, but in recent years, I say that facetiously. I have had that said to me several times, but in general, everybody's just so encouraging.
It's beautiful.
My neighbor across the street is a devout Catholic, and so from Mexico, and the Virgin of Guadalupe, she's really into.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow, she lives.
And that
she's
was
from Mexico, Catholic, and every morning she gets to have
that was
the
one of the
Virgin.
reasons I built it. Was to
really?
Yeah, because I want to be of service to my neighbors and to my community, for sure.
Wow, so you installed this one really kind of for your neighbor. That's cool.
Well, and I wanted to make a figure that was recognizable. I had made other figures, but out of my imagination. They didn't have a name.
Right, going from something like
but
this.
I wanted to make a figure that actually people would say, oh, that's so and so.
Yeah.
And when I resolved to do that, I thought, well, who should that be? And then I realized that Los Angeles is actually, the name of Los Angeles is not. It's not named after the angels. It's El Pueblo, which means our community, our chartered community from the king. In those days, El Pueblo, not as opposed to a mission, which is a religious or presidio military. This is a civic community with a mayor and everything. El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora, to Our Lady, and that's Our Lady in the feudal sense, like Lord and Lady, right? La Reina, the Queen of Angels. So LA is named after the nice Jewish girl who got in trouble and became the queen. And also at the time, our once and future criminal president was picking on my relatives who are from Mexico. I have one side of the family, or one quarter of the family, are Mexican. What can you say? And they were saying, he was saying the terrible things about him, and that bummed me out. But it also occurred to me that the tagging would stop. And it did. When I built the Virgin of Guadalupe, the different gangs that used to frequent this neighborhood and tag the wall down below and cross each other's out stopped.
Wow. Wow.
So it's like she literally brought peace to this particular part of the of LA.
Wow.
So I have a bunch of different reasons for doing it. Yeah. Anyway, so I could keep on with the. I do want to share this with you because this, in the interest of trying to figure out what the medium could do, I did this. Hold that there, right? And I want to find the other side of it.
Man, that is just gorgeous.
Now this, what you're holding in your hand, is the same array that this is. Hold these two together because it's from the opposite point of view at the opposite time of day, and you can barely see that it's the same thing. It's the medium itself is so incredible.
Wow.
Is it not?
Look at that. Look at how the light just completely
it
changes,
transforms, and so it's an ongoing cathartic experience just to be here. You look up and what's happening now?
That's so cool.
And do you see the two figures scampering up the green line?
Yeah.
Well, those, I put heads on them and they became dancers.
Oh,
like that.
Very cool.
And this is what it looks like on a fire day in LA, like the other day. When it feels like the end of the world, but you have to go out and kick your heels up anyway.
Yeah.
And it looks like that.
Wow. That is an amazing shot.
Isn't it though? And again, it's the medium itself is so incredible.
Yeah.
So now you've seen what you can do with 1,000 of these things. A lot. A whole different, a very wide variety of arrays and emotional impact. And you've seen what you can do with 8 of them. You can make dancers. And this is what you can do with 11 of them. You can make love, as it were.
Oh.
And you can have a kind of a purple romantic artist formerly known as Prince kind of love.
That's so cool.
Or you can kind of have a burning carrot kind of sunny day kind of love.
Oh, wow.
But
that's neat.
Again, it's to show the incredible potential for the medium itself.
It's the same piece.
It's the same piece.
Different days, different times, different
atmospheric conditions. And then this is a very similar piece, not exactly the same, but very similar, but juxtaposed to my neighbor's house and the shingles on her house. And this shows how love can sometimes get burn bright, even though the world becomes a little darker and colder outside. And it looks like that.
Wow. Wow.
Again, I'm
like
doing
ice.
this the medium itself is it's just crying out for the sunny climes that we live in.
Yeah,
It's really indigenous.
Yeah.
This medium was born here.
We need to get a whole community joining the Fantasma Gloria.
Yes.
Gloria, the Fantasma Gloria.
Exactly. And the sun is
Say it
just
right.
beating. And if you do this in your town, you will attract people for more reasons than the meth labs. I mean, all those desert towns, they could really, they holler, and I'll help you do it.
Randy, how do people contact you?
I'm on Instagram, Randyland LA, and on Facebook, and also you can just Google Randyland LA. Okay. I'm not the one in Pittsburgh. There's a Randyland in Pittsburgh, and it's also an outdoor art space. Oh, cool. So it says something about America, despite these dark times. There are actually 2 Randylands in America, and neither one of which is a strip joint. But anyway, you can just Google, and you can actually get my number very easily just by Googling it. Yeah. But you can also best is just approach me on Instagram, and I'll send you my phone number, and then you can text me as to what day you want to come. Make sure it's a sunny day. Hour and a half before sunset, and bring your grandma. She'll love it.
Oh, yeah. Right, Desiree?
Yes.
See, I brought Desiree.
There you go.
Oh, and Richard too.
She ain't no grandma.
And be something to do the selfie camera. Thank you so much for visiting.
Oh, it's been so fun.
Randy.
Before you leave, I want you to show you the incredible what happens when you have double refraction in action.
Double refraction
that's
in
what-
action. I was wondering about this piece. That's great. What is going on here?
You got large lenses in the foreground. You're shooting through that at a large array about 20 feet away, that's lit up by the setting sun, and this is actually that inside this sky, and this is that inside, and here's the upside down sky. But in the two stems, the skies are right side up, and those two orange dots is also that. So if you two were standing right there, you would be right here. But you'd also be right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. So the possibilities for filmmaking and still photography are vast. So you filmmakers out here, come to Randyland and make history.
Right? Yeah.
Very cool.